All right, List Night Quick List is back. I don't know if that's an official name, but that's what I'm calling it. What we're doing today is just a Matt and Andrew show. Mandrew, as I like to say. Obviously, got to do Pokemon. Two official lovers of Gen 1 Pokemon, and then everything after that is a little bit hit or miss, depending on who you ask. But what we're going to do in this one is create an NBA starting five, including six-man. So I guess a starting five and then a six-man, because the starting lineup doesn't include a six-man. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, we're getting into, like the stretch of the NBA regular season where, everyone starts to pay attention and the playoffs are soon. So this is a great time to do this list, and what better way to do it than with Pokemon?
I was thinking the same thing. All right, well, let's just get into it. So point guard. Before we get into like who we're looking at, what I'm looking for is like kind of like a do-it-all guy, not like a Steph Curry who's like going to be your best player, but just someone who can play some defense, who can shoot, who can pass, kind of do everything, kind of point guard.
Yeah, I think I was thinking along the same lines for point guard. The only thing I was thinking about in addition to that was like I want someone with a high basketball IQ, and for Pokemon, I don't know who has a high basketball IQ, so I'm just going to go with people who have a high IQ in general. So I don't know how we want to do this. So we want to just start throwing some names out there.
Yeah, so I had Mew for this one. I feel like Mew is the perfect do-it-all point guard. 100 base stat in every single stat. The NBA comparison is Derek White, who, if Griffin were speaking, would agree that Derek White, in my opinion, is like the perfect fourth best, third best player on a team. Good passer, good shooter. If you need him to score, he can score. If you need him to pass, he can pass. He can rebound. Really good defender. Mew, I just feel like kind of does it all. So I pegged him for point guard.
I like that. And I don't think you're going to see any pushback from me. I think Mew probably deserves the starting spot at the one. The other Pokemon that I had in mind, or like the two of them, was Kadabra and Alakazam, just because they're both just able to. I think they'd be able to control the game and control the defenders in ways that would just confuse defenses. But I agree. Mew's an all-around player, and I think he's deserving of the one.
I like Alakazam. I kind of viewed him as more of like a forward type player, a little bit taller. Not that you can't have a tall point guard, but
yeah,
that's where I had him pegged.
Yeah, there's a lot of like all-around guys that like can sort of be the LeBron, and sort of if they need to handle the ball, if they need to play off the ball, they can do that.
That's true.
There's some. I mean, looking at this, looking at the 151, it's stacked. There's just
we can make 3-star lineups.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you good with Mew? You good with Mew?
Yeah, let's slot Mew into that one.
All right, so for shooting guard, I'll give my general thoughts on what I'm looking for. This is the one position where I'm okay sacrificing a little bit of defense. They can't be a complete negative. They can't be someone that you're just targeting left and right, where you could just like game plan an offense around target this guy. But I'm looking more so someone that can do exactly what the position is called: shoot, score. So that's what I'm looking at. I'll let you give your thoughts on who this could be since I did point guard, but that's what I'm looking for personally.
Yeah. I because we're talking Pokemon, I thought this would be a good slot to have someone who, like, yes, I know it's a shooting guard, like someone who can shoot, but like, I like the idea of having someone with a Pokemon type that introduces something unique to the mix. I was thinking in the realms of like some flyers for this position. Like,
okay,
I looked at the legendary birds, just because they have the agility to play in a guard position. I mean, they could play forward as well. But I had Zapdos on my list. I also had Jolteon. It's interesting to think about a four-legged Pokemon playing shooting guard, but I think he could hold his own. Even someone like Growlithe or Arcanine, I feel like could, bring some fire to the mix and do something special at the two.
So we're actually on a similar wavelength in terms of who we were looking at. I had Jolteon on my list. I went with Raichu. I'm totally cool. I think we're on like the electric type seemed just like a good shooting guard kind of type.
Jolteon and Zapdos were my like two that immediately came to mind, and I don't know why, but I'm glad that we're aligned on the electric type, because I think there's something about it that just screams shooting guard to me.
All right, let's go Jolteon. I like that.
Yeah,
Jolteon it is. One thing that I think has jumped the shark in Pokemon is all the EV evolutions. There's like 15 now. It's crazy. The OGs with EV evolutions are always going to be up there. Shooting small forward. I always say shooting forward. Small forward position. I honestly kind of the two forwards kind of they intermingle for me. I don't really have like a specific type that I'm looking for. I'm just looking for generally the forward position, someone that's a little bit bigger. You got to be a plus defender and you got to be able to shoot. So who I had pegged for my shooting forward, I feel like is the kind of like the Kevin Durant mold, even though he's more of a 4. But I went with Mewtwo. I mean, Mewtwo can hit from anywhere, good defender, decent passer. He's fast, so he's not going to get taken advantage of. That's who I had pegged for the small forward.
Yeah, I took some liberties with the small forward. Like I had Charizard in there, and Charizard is by no means small. I'm just assuming that like we're running a big team, to be honest, and we'll talk about the power forward and the center later on. It's hard to argue against Mewtwo. I mean, if you have Mew and Mewtwo on your team together in the starting 5, I just like you're winning that 10 times out of 10.
Well, I'll just say it right now. I had Charizard as my power forward, so we're kind of on the same
Okay.
wavelength of just like the forward position is Charizard. So we could just put the two together. Who did you have as on your list for power forwards if you had Charizard for small forward?
So my power forward, I feel really good about, and I have Machamp. I just think
that is good.
Like first of all, his body presence and just like his ability to box out and get rebounds with 4 arms to me is like, I want that on my team.
I cannot argue with that. So I think Charizard's shooting or small forward. I always do that. Small forward, Machamp power forward feels like the right combination. Would you agree with that?
I'd be very happy with that.
I mean, that'd be a great starting lineup. All right. For the center position, I'll just tell you what I was looking for. I have no room on my team for someone that is a big plotting center, someone that can't move their feet. So, like, do I like Blastoise? Yeah, but I just need someone quicker than that. Like a Golem, love Golem. I need someone quicker than that on my team. So I don't know if you had different thoughts, but that's what I was looking for center.
Yeah, I struggled with center because the first one that came to my mind was Snorlax, but I'm like, oh, he's just a body. Like he's just a body. He's probably going to get called for 3 seconds all the time because he's not moving around. So I don't know. I'm open to talking about this one.
I thought about Snorlax, but it was kind of the same issue. Like, 20 years ago, Snorlax would have been a top 5 starting center in the NBA. But in this day and age, the space and pace game, I just don't think he can hang on the floor anymore. He'd get played off.
Dragonite. Yeah, I like that. I was going to say, you also run the risk of the opposing teams employing the old hack a Snorlax strategy. I can't imagine Snorlax is a very high percentage free throw shooter, so that would be a liability. I like Dragonite though. I think that's a great pick.
Hack a Snorlax is a good call because you could just see that's easily going to happen in the second half of games. Yeah, Dragonite, I just felt he's big enough where he's not going to get hurt. He can bang down low, but he can stretch the floor a little bit. He can move his feet. That's who I had pegged for.
Yeah, no arguments here. I think we slot him in there at the 5. I'm just looking at some others that may have some promise. Like Poliwrath could be interesting, but it's just hard to know. How sound he is just in terms of like fundamentals. I think he's got the spiral in his chest. I think that would confuse defenses a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it's a safer pick to have Dragonite in there.
Poliwrath was on my list. A little bit undersized for a center is the only thing. Like he's kind of squatty. All right, 6-man. We could go a number of ways with 6-man. Do you want someone that's just going to come in and get buckets? Do you want someone that can play defense? If you just want to go an all defense lineup, where did you like have in mind when you're thinking 6-man?
Well, so actually, it's funny that we didn't put Mewtwo in one of the starting positions because Mewtwo was my 6th man that I had. Just because
Me's Mewtwo.
I could put him in anywhere, any of the 5 slots, and he would thrive, and he probably deserved a starting position. But because I just wanted a little bit more diversity on my list, I didn't put him in the starting 5, so I had him as my 6th man. So I think you either go like that direction where it's just like he's the next best up, so put him on the team, or you like look for someone that's a hustler, like someone who like works hard for rebounds, and looking through this list, there's definitely some scrappy, like smaller guys that could be interesting. You could also, sons. And the only other thought I had on 6-man was like, maybe you want someone who's not really reliable, but like just can come in and like blow things up. And that's what I'm looking at Electrode. And I'm like, maybe just self-destruct and like, it'll help the team in some way. But to be honest, I think Mewtwo is the safest pick.
Yeah, I think Mewtwo not being in the starting lineup's got to be the 6-man. And there's going to be some closing lineups that'll include Mewtwo. People are calling him the James Harden OKC years of this basketball team. I'm not saying that. That's just what people are saying. Because I had Mewtwo in my starting lineup, I had a Primate as my 6 man as just a pure bucket getter. Like we give him run.
Yeah.
He's going to get buckets. He's going to get abused on defense. He's like the second quarter when you need someone to just score 10 straight points, you go with Primate. But I agree that Mewtwo, based on our starting 5, is the perfect 6 man.
Yeah, let's slap Mewtwo in there. But I really like the Primate pick because you could see like him getting more minutes in a very physical game, like where, there's just lots of fouls. Maybe the starters are getting into a bit of foul trouble, and Primate is like not backing down. Like he's going to fight for rebounds. He's going to fight for loose balls, and he's going to play a little dirty, but he's going to do the things you need out of a 6 man.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. That's what I always say. Yeah, and if you're in a scrap, you want Primate on your side. But I mean, for the way we had our starting lineup go, I think Mewtwo's the perfect 6 man.
Yeah. This is a great list.
I mean, this is the dream team. This is like the 90s Olympics dream team level lineup here. Real quick, I'll recap and then we'll get out of here. Starting point guard Mew, shooting guard Jolteon, small forward Charizard, power forward Machamp, center Dragonite, and 6-man Mewtwo. I mean, that team's going 73-9 if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, maybe undefeated.
It could be. Cool. All right, good stuff. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in here. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. All of us on the social medias. Check out the full-length videos on YouTube, or if you're a podcaster, on Spotify /Apple Podcasts, and we'll catch you next time.